The film begins in Amityville where Ed and Lorraine Warren work trying to solve a case. Lorraine is transported to an astral plane where she tries to find the reason why there were so many murders in that abode. But following a child, she meets a strange entity in the shape of a nun inside a mirror that announces her death. After these incidents, Lorraine tells Ed that she is not able to continue talking more cases. Later, the story focuses on Enfield, London, where a family is harassed by some entity. Before going to bed, Margaret and Janet use a Ouija board that a classmate had given Janet and with which she sometimes chatted with spirits. At night, the girl is transported to an astral plane through her dreams and is harassed by the figure of a 72-year-old man. Meanwhile, at the Warren home in Connecticut, Lorraine is astonished to discover that Ed was painting a picture of the nun who had announced her death in Amityville. Sensing that she might be a powerful demonic being. At the Hodgson house, paranormal episodes start to happen more often. One night, Billy, the younger brother who is sorry, is a receiver of paranormal activity at the residence when he hears the scream of an old man inside his play shop. At the Warrens' house, Lorraine has a vision in which she sees her daughter Judy pointing at the figure of the nun, who goes to hide in one of the rooms. Then the medium goes to the room trying to locate the entity and is disturbed to see the picture hanging behind her back. The lights go out, the curtains close, and a loud Christmas music begins to be heard loudly, at which moment the nun emerges from the picture and attacks Lorraine. Judy pulls her mother out of trance, who discovers that in her trance she had destroyed the Bibles she had in her hands. Back in Enfield, Janet and her sister Margaret are hit by a big shake in their beds and run scared to call their mother. At that moment, Mr. Hodgson witnesses a large piece of furniture moving on its own to block the door. The family takes refuge in the neighbor's house and is visited by many members of the police department and a few experts on the subject. Amazingly, they all witness the episodes. At one point, the old man who used little Janet as a driver speaks while being interviewed by the press and says his name is Bill Wilkins. He is 22 years old and died on the couch of the residence years ago. Paranormal phenomena occur even though the Hudson family stays at the home of their neighbors Peggy and Vic Nottingham as the events repeat themselves in the same way and with more violence. The news reaches the Warren's ears, but Lorraine prefers not to interfere by confessing to Ed that the reason he wanted to stay away from the cases was that on two occasions evil spirits predict the death of Ed being pierced by a pointed lock. Ed and Lorraine arrive at the Hodgson home and sleep in one of the rooms. At night, Janet levitates on the ceiling of the living room and can clearly see Bill Wilkins sitting on the couch and then walking up the stairs with an annoying whistle. Hearing the United Statement, Lorraine has a vision where she can see Bill Wilkins on the couch where he had died years ago. Bill tells him that he had returned to see his family but that since they were gone, since they had passed away, he tried to leave but something is holding him back. Lorraine sees Bill being used as a pawn by the nun who was harassing her. The Warren discovered that what happened was not a fraud and decide. Lorraine is in great distress, sensing that at that moment her husband will die. Lorraine concludes that knowing the name of the entity may have power over it. She rescued her Bible from her lash and put together the letters she had written about her when she had the vision of the nun in her house back.
And I wrote it down! I need my Bible. What? What's happening? What?
Vero per Dio santo! Procede, Sir Doctor! Procede! Billy!
The demon's name gives us power over it. V-A-L-A-K. Valak.
Lorraine manages to enter the house through the hole Big Nottingham had made with the axe. When he goes after, he finds Ed holding Janet on the edge of the window but clinging to an unanswerable curtain that is slowly giving way by the weight of both. Next to him, he sees Balak. At that moment, Lorraine condemns Balak to hell. By uttering those words, she expels the demonic entity and manages to save her husband and Janet.
Your name gives me dominion over you, demon. And I do know your name. You are Balak! The defiler! The profane! The Marquis of Snakes! In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, I condemn you back to hell!
God!